My name is Jamal El-Mokadem, and I'm the Director of QA and Escalations at Barracuda Networks. I'm not here today to talk to you about Barracuda. I do, however, want to invite you to pay us a visit. We are participating in this great event, and we do have a check-in station at our office, which happens to be just down the street from this theater. Our doors will be open at 3 p.m. What I'm here to do today is talk to you about a field that I'm very passionate about. It's a field that's really become a prerequisite to the success of any software organization out there. So it's pretty serious business. That's the field of quality assurance. Now, when we talk quality assurance, we must first talk quality. Whenever I interview candidates, I tend to ask, what does quality mean to you? And the good ones, they give me the most personal answers that Google has to provide, usually centered around meeting customer expectations. And I say good because, and I quote an industry expert, myself, quality is measured by the degree of meeting customer expectations. Now, they do get extra points for saying explicit and implicit expectations. Implicit, because customers, they don't always tell you exactly what they want or what they need. Maybe when something wrong happens, they might come back and say, well, no, that's really what I meant, or what I really needed is such and such. So being empathetic to customer needs, understanding customer requirements, getting in their heads, these are the first steps to achieve quality. Now, the assurance part of quality assurance has more to do with how do we build quality into the product or the service, meaning quality is not really an appendage that you can just attach at the end of the software development cycle. So quality really does not fall on the shoulders of a single group or a single role within an organization. Quality is really everybody's business. Everybody must be involved. Good quality, though, does take shape when we organize everybody's roles and everybody's contributions within a very well-designed process. And it's at the heart of that process that the QA function starts. Because quality assurance dictates that we continuously and consistently monitor, review, and revise the process and make improvements to it. Let's see. We get very excited, QA engineers, when we're talking about process and improvements. Our motto is, if it ain't broke, make it better. And to make it better, you must first measure it. An industry expert, I know it's not me this time, it's a fellow called Edward Deming. He's a statistician, an engineer, a professor, renowned for being the father of quality. He once said, in God we trust, everybody else must bring data. And that's the second and major function of a QA engineer's job. And no, it's not operating a spaceship. It's actually a lot more fun than that. It's a lot more exciting. It's providing a proof and measure for quality. Now, that does start with differentiating between what is a bug, what is a hidden feature, and what's misbehavior by design. But it goes a lot deeper than that. Because to do this job properly, a QA engineer must wear multiple hats. And perhaps one of the biggest hats, and what some folks might mistakenly believe is the only job of a QA engineer, is testing. Now, when I interview candidates, I also tend to ask, why QA? And one most typical, most common answer that I get is, we like to break things. But testing is not really about breaking things. That's the developer's job. Bad QA joke. Testing is more about dispelling the illusions that things work to begin with. Now, when we're talking about testing, we must talk about users. And users today, they've become very sophisticated. They're very creative at pushing software usage beyond the limits and boundaries of its intended design. So it's very important for the QA engineers to be equally as creative, if not more creative, to properly test and evaluate the software. And software is becoming more and more complex. Most software does not live in a bubble. Most software plays in a very technologically diverse ecosystem that affects the way it behaves and the way it performs. So it's imperative for the QA engineers to have the technical skills that allows them to understand that ecosystem, all the subcomponents, how they interact, how to set them up, how to configure them. So the QA engineer today must have skills that range all the way from setting up systems to rolling up the sleeves, if not more, on work on the back end of networking. Now, because of software complexity, we end up having thousands, literally thousands of test cases. And in order to execute and run these test cases consistently, efficiently, and within a reasonable amount of time, QA has turned to test automation, which means in addition to all these skills, a QA engineer must have the skills of a programmer. Now, if you've noticed something wrong with this meme right here, which obviously has not been QA'd properly because it has a misspelled word, I'll let you find it. If you've noticed it, it means you have a skill that the QA engineer must have. It's very essential, which is the power of observation, the power of detailed observation. So as you can see, the QA engineer's job today is very versatile. It's a lot of fun, but it requires the engineer to become a jack of all trades, master of many. Being a shallow generalist just doesn't work anymore. Now, allow me to leave you with one final thought and circle back to the original definition that I've given, which is meeting customer expectations. And at the heart of that definition is really providing value for customers. And if I push it one step further, more in a business-centric direction, quality becomes providing value that competitors cannot, or before competitors, while ensuring that no harm is done. And it's this angle of quality that keeps businesses financially successful, and what keeps the QA engineer grounded in reality, more as a pragmatist rather than a stiff idealist. So this is all I have for you today. I hope I've shed some light on the QA field and role. And for anybody out there that's interested in a career in the software industry, QA is really a great place to start and to grow. Thank you.